The streets of Gaza ran red with blood, the air thick with tear gas and the stench of death. Another day, another tragedy. But this day, April 1st, 2025, would be seared into the memories of Palestinians as a particularly brutal example of Israeli aggression. On this day, Israeli forces targeted and killed 3 Palestinian Red Crescent medics. These medics, identifiable by their uniforms and commitment to saving lives, became victims of a conflict that seems to have no regard for human life. This essay will investigate the killings, examine the systematic targeting of medical personnel, and explore the broader implications for healthcare in Gaza. The incident sent shockwaves through Gaza and the international community. The Red Crescent, a symbol of neutrality and humanitarian aid, had been violated. The killing of their medics, a clear breach of international law, raised urgent questions about the safety of medical personnel in conflict zones. The incident also highlighted the dire state of healthcare in Gaza, a region crippled by years of conflict and a crippling blockade. The killings on April 1st were not isolated incidents. They were part of a larger, disturbing pattern of attacks on medical personnel and facilities in Gaza. These attacks, often carried out with impunity, have had a devastating impact on the region's already fragile healthcare system. They have created a climate of fear and insecurity, making it increasingly difficult for medical professionals to provide essential care. The targeting of medical personnel in Gaza is not a new phenomenon. For years, ambulances have been shot at, hospitals bombed, and medical workers harassed and intimidated. These attacks, often carried out with impunity, have created a climate of fear and insecurity, making it increasingly difficult for medical professionals to provide essential care. The April 1st killings are a stark reminder of the dangers faced by those who dedicate their lives to saving others. The evidence of systematic targeting is overwhelming. Human rights organizations have documented countless cases of attacks on medical facilities and personnel. In 2023 alone, there were over 100 recorded attacks on medical facilities in Gaza. These attacks are not accidental. They are deliberate and calculated acts of violence aimed at crippling the healthcare system and terrorizing the population. The targeting of medical personnel is a clear violation of international law. The Geneva Conventions, which govern the conduct of war, explicitly protect medical personnel, ambulances, and hospitals from attack. These laws are not mere suggestions. They are the bedrock of international humanitarian law and are essential for ensuring the safety of civilians and those who care for them. The events of April 1st are etched in the memories of those who witnessed the horror firsthand. Eyewitnesses, including fellow medics and bystanders, recount the events with a chilling clarity. Their testimonies paint a picture of chaos, terror, and cold-blooded murder. "We were responding to a call, sirens blaring, lights flashing," recounts Ahmed, a Red Crescent medic who was present that day. "We were clearly marked as medical personnel, but they opened fire on us without warning. It was a massacre." Ahmed's testimony is not unique. Numerous other witnesses have come forward, each corroborating the other's accounts. These eyewitness accounts are crucial for understanding the events of that day and for holding the perpetrators accountable. They provide first-hand evidence of the brutality and disregard for human life that characterized the attack. Their stories are a testament to the human cost of this conflict and the urgent need for justice. Section 4. The world reacts. Condemnation and calls for justice. The killings of the Red Crescent medics sparked international outrage. Governments, human rights organizations, and international bodies condemned the attack and called for an independent investigation. The United Nations called the killings a grave breach of international law and demanded that those responsible be held accountable. Amnesty International accused Israel of flagrant disregard for human life and called for an end to the culture of impunity that has allowed these crimes to continue. The International Committee of the Red Cross expressed its profound shock and sadness and called for an immediate and impartial investigation into the killings. However, despite the widespread condemnation and calls for accountability, justice remains elusive. Israel, which has a long history of impunity for its actions in Gaza, has shown no willingness to conduct a credible investigation or hold its soldiers accountable for their crimes. Section 5. The crumbling healthcare system, a dire situation. The targeting of medical personnel and facilities has had a devastating impact on the healthcare system in Gaza. Hospitals are overcrowded and understaffed, lacking essential medicines and equipment. The blockade imposed by Israel has made it incredibly difficult to get supplies into Gaza, further exacerbating the crisis. The constant threat of attack has also taken a toll on the mental and emotional well-being of healthcare workers. Many suffer from PTSD, anxiety, and depression. The fear is palpable not just for their own safety but also for the safety of their patients. The situation is untenable and the international community must act to ensure that healthcare workers in Gaza can do their jobs without fear of being attacked. The attacks on healthcare in Gaza are not just a violation of international law, they are a moral outrage. They represent a callous disregard for human life and suffering. The world must not stand idly by as these crimes continue. Section 6. Justice delayed is justice denied. The killings of the Red Crescent medics on April 1, 2025 were a tragedy, a war crime, and a stark reminder of the human cost of the ongoing conflict in Gaza. These killings were not an isolated incident but part of a larger pattern of systematic attacks on medical personnel and facilities. The international community must demand accountability for these crimes. There must be a thorough and impartial investigation, and those responsible must be brought to justice. The culture of impunity that has allowed these crimes to continue must end. The world must stand with the people of Gaza and demand an end to the violence and the occupation. Justice delayed is justice denied. Justice.